I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be than right here, right now with you as we prepare to launch the all-new Wrangler into the marketplace. And really, for me personally, what's really exciting about today is the fact that you will be among the first to get behind the wheel and experience this awesome new Wrangler, both on-road and off-road. Over the last several years, we've introduced a number of very important models into the marketplace that have helped driven the growth of the Jeep brand here in the U.S. and across the globe. But I can tell you that none of them are more significant and more important than the all-new Wrangler. Clearly, this is the beginning of a very humble beginning for the Jeep brand back in 1941. And since then, the brand has been able to grow into a global domination of SUVs with world-class driving dynamics and off-road capabilities sold in over 150 countries. In a few moments, the team will come up and take you through the details, both inside, outside, and underneath, because all of it's very important. But what I can tell you is that the new Wrangler is simply more of everything. And it goes well beyond just a stunning new design that is very true to the authentic Wrangler from the Willys back to 1941. But more capability, with improved approach and departure angles, more ground clearance, improved crawl ratios. This is the most capable Wrangler ever. More driving comfort, vastly improved on-road driving dynamics. So no compromise with the improved capability or the on-road driving dynamics piece of it. Furthermore, more efficiency. 3 new powertrains, all more efficient, including a diesel that will arrive in 2019. More open air freedom options, including an all-new power top that we'll be introducing with the new Wrangler. More technology than we've ever had, and more safety and security features than we've ever had in a Jeep Wrangler. So it's exciting to be here today at this milestone for not just the Wrangler as a nameplate, but the Jeep brand as a whole. So I'm sure you're gonna have fun both on-road and certainly off-road at the trail that we have set up for you today. But I'm gonna turn it over to Mark Allen right now, and he's gonna take you through the exterior design.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Mark Allen, head of the Jeep Design Group, and I want to take you through the car. We've been thinking about working on the car for about 2.5, maybe 3 years, but we've been thinking about this car for, I say, 10 years. And I've been very involved in Moab throughout the years. You've seen some of the concepts we do there. A lot of what we did and learned in Moab comes through in this car. In fact, I need to stop calling it a car. What we did, 2 objectives here. One, for the design, the styling of the vehicle was to maintain tradition and reinforce that. And the other was just to fix things and to increase the experience of the car. We just literally made big, long lists of things about the car that bothered us, feedback from the customers, and I think we got just about everything in here. So it's a big story, and I'll take you through it. There's no way I can pack it all in this morning, but we'll do this throughout the day. First up is the Sahara, four-door Sahara, and you'll notice right away in the front, I've packed in a lot of my favorite vehicles, the CJ5. All the elements on the vehicle are just physically larger. The grille, the windows, the lighting, everything to sort of contain the size of the vehicle. New molded bumper, LED fog lights. The headlight's a really cool story. It's a full LED headlight. Jeep's not been known for its lighting technology, and I think we fixed that here. There's a projector main beam, and then the upper and lower cavities are a reflected LED. Outboard here is a LED park turn and DRL, and I forgot to mention there's actually a halo ring around the headlight. And we just want to present the face of the Jeep, daylight and evening as well. Hood, super nice hood. It's got some feature to it where we didn't have that before, and that was really picked up off of older Jeeps, even the TJ. New Lunchbox Latches on the side. That was part of the story to prevent some of the hood flutter that we had going on. Additionally, there's a functional vent on the side. For some reason on a Wrangler, it just piles air under the hood, and that was a way to get air out from underneath there. Jeep, the name has returned to the side, and that was a personal goal of mine. I'd never liked that it was on the grill because we use the grill as a trademark, so put it back on the side, and that's where it was always meant to be. Faster windshield, and that was part of the Aero package. Jeep and Aero don't usually get along real well for the Wrangler. You'll see what we've done with the vehicle. We've laid the windshield back, rounded the A pillars. You'll see an air dam underneath. The roof, as it comes back, it actually tapers in a little bit, and it ends with a lip spoiler on the hardtop. Lots of aluminum intensity here, aluminum hood, aluminum fender, doors, tailgate, and I think the engineering team will get into that a little bit deeper. The other thing I wanted to really improve here was visibility. So every piece of glass on this vehicle is larger. You'll notice that driving it, and I think it's for the first time ever in my career we actually moved the belt line down. So the previous car was built when we couldn't get the belt lines high enough. We've moved this one down, and it's just a much more comfortable experience. When you drive, especially the hardtop models, we did a lot of work to improve the rear visibility. On the back of the vehicle, spare tire moved down, chinzel moved down, and the chinzel is actually mounted now on an adjustable bracket. If you want to put a larger tire on there, you can move the chinzel up to clear that out. Backup camera, 100% on the vehicles. Blind spot monitoring. The backlight is physically wider, and then on the hardtop, the wiper moves down behind the tire. Additionally, the rear headrests, you can drop those independently of the seat, and the result of all of that is rear visibility of this car is fantastic compared to the previous vehicle. Additionally, the tailgate is wider for cargo, and it features this new just a simple pull style handle. That was kind of a big complaint on the vehicles before, and a first for Wrangler. The door shuts itself. Remember, we didn't get doors till 1983 as standard equipment. So. Very special model here, the Rubicon. Rubicon is, again, a lot of what we learned in Moab throughout the years pumped into this vehicle. I've actually had people ask me, is this thing modified? And it's not. This is really how it is. Big story here, 33-inch tire, standard. It's the largest tire we've ever put on a Wrangler. It's now an all-terrain tire. You'll notice between this and the Sahara, the fender is actually higher by about 2 inches. What we did was clear everything out. So if a guy wants to put a 35-inch tire straight on the vehicle, they can do that. There's no other modifications necessary. Of course, everybody wants to lift their Jeep, so Mopar will help them with that. We'll get to that later. Rubicon, what returns is an optional steel bumper that is winch capable. You can drop the winch in here immediately. Red tow hooks. The end caps are removable for increased approach angle, and I think some of the off-road vehicles we have today will show that. Rubicon also gets its own unique aluminum hood with functional vents on the top. And all models, the doors still are removable. In fact, on the door hinge itself, there's a little stamp into the hinge that says T50. T50 is the Torx bit that you need to remove the doors. We even made that easier. We, of course, supply you with the tool, and then the hinge pins are staggered to realign the door when you put it back on. The windshield folds again. I was told by engineering that we weren't going to fold the windshield anymore. Manufacturing hated it. It was difficult for painting. Engineering hated it, and customers certainly were not asking for it. Why does the windshield fold? Because it always has. And it was a tradition we fought to keep. It originally folded for shipping. They put the little flat fender Jeep in a crate, took the wheels off, folded the windshield, and fit the crate. Sometimes there was a guy in the back seat with a howitzer. That was handy as well. If you've never folded the windshield on a Jeep, it's a different experience. It really is. I always say the windshield folds because Porsches didn't have windshields. The Jeep shouldn't have windshield. Off-road is just a unique experience. It's a slow speed kind of a thing. I think you can do it up to about 30 miles an hour, actually, I think. I've done it on mine. And we want to save it. It was an important thing. Now that the cage is complete, the A-pillars and the whole bar structure, that allowed us to do that. Windshield frame, the last year's car was 28 bolts in an hour and a half of your time to get it down. New vehicle, pull the wipers, four bolts, and it's flat. It's not curved. So a cool little feature. It's just so Wrangler, you know. I think that's so cool. Please, we'll try it out today. If you've never driven it off-road with the windshield down, it never gets dirty. A little more fresh air. Additionally, the cage structure is all exposed metal now, as opposed to before we had the socker on it. So it's exposed body color, and has the head impact foam in here. The upshot of all this is you can easily clean it, wipe it clean, doesn't get dirty, etc. I want to show two features. This is equipped with power top, which is new, and again, direct request from customers. Available on Sahara and Rubicon. So it's a full opening canvas top. And the rear quarters come out as well. I think this will be a big deal. Imagine if you live in an apartment or something, you want to have an open top Jeep, and maybe the weather doesn't permit that. You're not going to take your roof off. This is a great thing. Up to 60 miles an hour, push the button, and the roof opens. Additionally, for our soft top people, I want to demonstrate this real quick because I think this is a big deal for soft top. Anybody ever put the roof on a Wrangler 4-door? Got all your fingers? Big improvement. Let me show you this real quick. So the first thing to note here is there are no more zippers. Those zippers that shrink, can't turn corners. The weather doesn't matter when you do this. On the outside, there's a former here now, so the corner is always real nice. This is all done with what they call a canard, little plastic piece here, and they simply just slip out. This will be the case for the side windows as well. See how easy this is? We'll do the other side. Can I get somebody to push that up? That's how it's supposed to work. I got the chief engineer on the job. Just pull straight out. There you go.
Went much better in rehearsal, right?
Yeah, it did. So the front piece flips back really easily, gathers up, like so. That's similar to what we have today, but it's much more refined. The bows, there's more increased bows. This is the tricky part. And here, like never before. So very awesome. Goes back up just as easily. Two latches on the header and stuff. I'm going to hand it over to Ryan Patrick Joyce now. He's going to take you through the interior on the vehicle, and any questions throughout the day, let me know. We can drive the cars in all different these configurations of doors, windshields, and roofs, okay? Thank you. Ryan Patrick Joyce.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Good job. Ryan Patrick Joyce, RPJ. I'm the interior design manager for the all-new Wrangler. It's awesome to be here, which is a little bit warmer, but it reminds me of Michigan, so that's a good thing. A couple of words I'll be saying through the presentation. The first is refined, because this is easily the most refined Wrangler that we've ever done. And the second is authentic, because we've taken all those refinements, the improved infotainment, comfort, conveniences, storage, materials. They're all done in a uniquely and authentically Wrangler way. Probably the most important point we make all day. How do we get to that Wrangler magic? How do we tap into that unique DNA? We did just a big history lesson, basically. We looked at all the old Wranglers, all the old Jeeps, and we kind of broke it up into two different families. The first was the original Willys vehicles on top, the MB, the CJ5, and even the YJ. They were basically just metal with stamped holes for gauges, really simple, but they're very wide and special looking. As soon as you started adding airbags, glove boxes, safety features, plastic interiors, the proportion went from really horizontal, linear, wide, to really tall. And it kind of lost some of that magic. So our major goal was to try to capture that original DNA. So what do we get from each of the models? Well, from the original MV, just the simple, confident horizontal lines. So when we started sketching, we just started sketching just right through the page. From the CJ5, we picked up on the trapezoidal surfacing, all the little edges and the keystone shapes, and brought that into the interior. And from the YJ, we brought in not just the circles, but took the HVAC vents, raised them up on either side of the screen, and just had them all in a nice straight line. So that kind of harkens back to the YJ. So we put that all together, shook it up, and what we get is a design that is inspired by the past, but is a completely new, holistic statement. The next evolution in Wrangler design. From there, we added authentic materials and premium materials at that. So the top pad brow is premium wrapped with decorative accent stitching on Sahara and Rubicon. Whenever you see silver on the steering wheel and the gauges, it is real metal plating, so it's cold to the touch or hot to the touch. And there's authentic materials too, inspired by off-roading. The grab handle is still molded urethane, but we've also taken that same over-molded rubber and brought it to the radio bezel, as that's an area where people are grabbing onto when they're really in need of something stable. Comfort and conveniences. There are so many new features through the interior. The HVAC, for instance, was designed just for this vehicle. In fact, every switch, every button, every control in the new Wrangler was designed just for this vehicle. So the knobs, for instance, we were able to make really chunky. The buttons have instant recognition, so that you can keep your eyes on the road or the trail ahead. And we've hit some of those Wrangler touches, like real screws wherever they made sense. So the real metal plating that organizes the switches, it's screwed in with screws. Adjustable lumbar support is now standard in all price classes, so the seats are more comfortable. And that also has some of that rubber overmold, so it's instant recognition. And the doors, Mark talked about the belt line being lower. To take advantage of that, we made the door upper a soft material, so it's that perfect arm height. We've elongated the armrests, so you can finally lay your hand out straight. And the door storage. On today, we have these really neat storage nets that expand to fit any sort of item you put in there. Today it's about this big. For the new Wrangler, we've expanded it the entire length of the door and even skived out as much space as possible so you can fit an umbrella, really anything for your on-road or off-road needs. Wrangler exclusive features. We did a lot of ergonomic improvements here, especially the Rubicon exclusive off-road switches. They're now painted radical red, and we've improved the ergonomics so it's a simple toggle up or toggle down to disconnect your lockers. Right next to it, there's optional aux switches. So your light bar, any accessory you have can be integrated right into that feature bank on the right-hand side. And the most useful part for me is the lift assist handle that we built into the doors. The first time I went off-roading with Mark, and you might have heard this story, I accidentally dropped a door. So it became really important for me to include that in there so no one else makes the same embarrassing mistake that I did. Trail-ready infotainment. The beige cluster is all new. It has our large 7-inch driver information display with full reconfigurability. But we did it in a Wrangler way, so there's an exclusive real-time transfer case display built into every cluster that gets the 7-inch. So you'll always know what gear you're in. And of course, off-road pages on in the cluster and in the center stack that shows you your pitch, your roll. I took a vehicle out, and it's just it's neat to see just how far you can push the vehicle. More connectivity options. It's 2018. So having as many USBs in the vehicle is important. Not just that, we've got the media center towards the right of the window switches with a USB, micro USB, and aux jack. But we made sure that there are numerous places to stick your cell phone in the center console and throughout the vehicle. The center console, for instance, it's still lockable, as is the glove box, but this time it is 50% larger. It's illuminated, and there's an additional USB that connects to the radio. Adaptable storage. There's a lot of different features for on and off-road. One of them is the Rubicon seat back. It's a MOLLE system, so you can weave in your bags and have adaptable storage. And in the rear, we have the Trail Rail cargo management system, so you can organize your storage based on anything. Our customers were just drilling into their load floors, so we wanted to give them a way that they can organize their space, compartmentalize it based on their functions. And probably the biggest improvement we've made is to the rear seats. Humans can sit back there now. The seat back is more comfortable, it's more reclined, uses multi-density foam. There's a fold-on armrest with additional storage features. The armrests on the doors have also come into the vehicle at least 2 more inches, and there's more storage in there as well. HVAC, HVAC, heat and cold are standard in the rear on all price classes. That's brand new for a Wrangler. And optionally, there's an additional 2 USBs that again connect to the radio. And finally, we wouldn't be Jeep and this wouldn't be Wrangler without some heritage-inspired details. You guys saw some of the old Jeeps last night. I love the steering wheel. It's just this simple piece of metal. There's a nice Y shape for the spokes. We wanted to bring that Y into the interior, so there's a little Willys Y spoke inspiration, just kind of hidden in the steering wheel. There's also a few Willys silhouettes hidden throughout the interior, but the Willys, that's our, it's really important to us. So we didn't want to just stamp it into plastic. It's in a real metal badge here. And my favorite part is definitely the Willys Swingate badge. It's an information plaque on the Swingate, real aluminum, riveted to the Swingate, has your waterfording information, all sorts of cool goodies. And it just harkens back to the original vehicles. No interior story would be complete without a color material story. It's no secret, we have extremely different customers. You've got the hardcore off-roader, which I'm obviously not. You've probably picked up on that already. I'm more of a Sahara guy. But we designed the color material spaces to fit each person's needs. So for the hardcore off-road guy, there's a heritage interior. It's got the tan seats. It's very old school. It's customizable and upgradable. It's a starting point for these customers. For the Rubicon guy who wants something a little bit louder, and they're out there, there's the reticle interior. We brought in some of the red based on the red tow hooks for this interior. The Sahara base interior is just a nice interior. Silver high gloss painted mid bolsters, again the real metal plating on the steering wheel, and light silver stitching throughout the top pad and seats. And then finally, the most premium interior that we've ever done is this right here, the premium Sahara interior. Premium wrapping on the mid bolsters, decorative accent stitching. It's just a really expensive feeling place to be. Finally, again, I'm not a hardcore off-road guy, but I can say that I grew up with this brand. This is a picture of me. My first Jeep, the Screaming Chicken. But just, it's really cool for me to be here and to be a part of this product. And our goal is ultimately not just to be inspired by the past, but to create the next logical evolution of this vehicle. So with that, thank you very much, and I'm going to be handing it over to Mr. Dave Bustamante.
Thanks, RJ. I'm Dave Bustamante. I'm the model responsible for the Jeep Wrangler. There were some key things that we really wanted to focus on during the development of this all-new vehicle. First, we wanted to improve on the already legendary off-road performance. At the same time, we wanted to refine its on-road dynamics. We wanted to improve fuel economy, and we wanted to really upgrade the overall customer experience with safety, security, and convenience features. So let's start with the outside. I'm going to let Brian, my colleague, talk to the dynamics, the fuel economy, the powertrains, and I'm going to focus on the convenience and the customer experience. We touched on a lot of them. I'm going to touch on a few of them again. First off, let's talk about the outside of the car, weight. We saved 200 pounds on this vehicle through the use of advanced lightweight materials. That had a double benefit for us. Yes, it improved our fuel economy, no doubt. But for instance, the hood is aluminum, the windshield is aluminum, the doors are aluminum. We saved between 30 and 40% of the weight by going to aluminum on those components. This is important when the customer is raising the hood, when they're folding down the windshield, if they're removing the windshield, which you can do, or if you're removing the doors. Secondly, the hardtop, which we don't have shown here, but the freedom panels. I think everybody's probably experienced how to remove a freedom panel. Well, they're a little bit, we've made them lighter. We've used advanced lightweight composite, and we saved 20% of the weight on the freedom panels, making that a much easier activity to do. Finally, on the frame. We took almost 100 pounds out of this frame. through extensive use of high-strength steels. And we did that, and at the same time, we improved torsional stiffness by 18%. So everywhere we took weight out, we looked to give something more in addition to just the weight savings for the benefit of fuel economy. We'll talk a little bit more about the doors. Mark mentioned how we went to the pull-style handle. We've also now offered passive entry. That's available option, so it makes your entry as easy as can be. Pull the handle, the car unlocks. That's available on the front doors and on the swing gate. The other thing that Mark pointed out was that these doors basically close themselves. We have added high energy check straps to the doors that can be disconnected with one single bolt, which is the same as the hinge bolts. And they essentially give you all the energy you need to close the doors by themselves. From a top standpoint, Mark demonstrated the soft top, how simple and really easy it is for one person to put that down. He was not kidding about the fingers. You can get your fingers pinched. And the way this was designed, it was to alleviate that concern. And we also added bows to the structure to properly manage the fabric so that when you do go into the Sunrider position, it's not drooping into the passenger compartment. It manages the fabric very nicely with the new design. If we talk about, the next thing I want to talk about was safety and security. This was really paramount for us in the development of the Wrangler. We have a lot of folks that are families that use this as a daily driver now. And the safety and security is really important. So some of the features that we added, we talked about it a little bit, were blind spot detect. We've added rear cross path detection. We have available rear park assist on this vehicle, and we've also added, as Mark mentioned, 100% rear backup camera. All told, there's over 75 active and passive safety features, safety and security features on this vehicle. If we talk about the interior, we keep going with additional adds. We added 8-pillar grab handles, as you can see on the Wrangler right here. Really nice and something that the off-roaders really asked for. Give them something to grab onto when the going gets a little dicey. Or getting into a vehicle that's lifted makes it a lot easier. The steering wheel is now tilt and telescoping to give you the ideal fit that you'd like to have when you're driving. It's also available with heat. The seats are also, front seats are available with heat, 3 levels of heat. And as RPJ mentioned, they have lumbar support on the driver's side, 100%. We've gone to push to start 100% on the vehicles, and we've now introduced our 4th generation of Uconnect Radio. This radio is really fabulous. You're gonna love using this. It's got a 4 times faster microprocessor, and it's got a dedicated graphical processor that handles the higher resolution, and it becomes a very responsive system because it's capacitive and multi-touch, enabling pinch and zoom and very responsive behavior. So I know you'll all get a chance to try that on the vehicles today. If we move to the center console, again, comfort. We've added vents to the back of the center console for rear seat comfort, both for heat and air conditioning. There are also floor vents that go to that. So when you're going up with the top down and it's a little bit chilly, you can all be comfortable. The last thing I think I wanted to mention was the carpet. It's still removable. This vehicle is still meant to be rinsed out, washed out after a muddy day on the trail. There are drains in the floor. And we've also added locators to the carpet so that when it's time to put it back in, it very easily goes back into position. I could go on the enhancements that we've made. You're all going to get a chance to see for yourself. I hope you enjoy it. But what I'd like to do now is turn it over to Brian Lees, our chief engineer, and he's going to talk to you more about the details behind how we achieved greater off-road performance, better on-road performance, and fuel economy. All right.
Thank you, Dave. All right, so as mentioned, my name is Brian Lees. I'm the chief engineer. So I'm going to stick on this theme of more, in particular, more on-road driving refinement, more capability, and more fuel economy. So if we start out, just kind of go to the base of the vehicle architecturally. Dave mentioned the frame. It's an all-new frame, completely re-engineered. When we did that, we were able to take advantage of some geometry improvements. So from an on-road refinement and drivability standpoint, we raised the roll center of the vehicle, we took the track height up. We were able to take the upper, lower control arms, we were able to move them out and down a little bit. All of our shocks have been truly tuned for a lot of the on-road improvements. We went through tire developments with all the manufacturers, all working on refinement to that on-road driving sensation. We've added electro-hydraulic power steering pump for that steering feel that you guys are all going to experience today. In the end, as a daily driver, the current Wrangler, you get a lot of shake. We call it a lot of head toss. Your head's kind of doing this a lot. We've eliminated a lot of that. So I think when you get out on the road this morning, you're going to see that, feel that improvement. I know personally, if I take a current generation Wrangler Rubicon and I put my kids in the back, my son, after a little while, he gets car sick real easy, so we have to pull over and he gets sick. Over Thanksgiving, we took a new Wrangler and drove 5 hours to see family, and at the end, he just said, "Dad, I didn't get sick." So I saw that real experience. So so you'll see that from the on-road. Now, if we go over to the capability side, a Wrangler, first and foremost, is going to be off-road. That's what we always look at. We will never compromise off-road on the Wrangler. I've been asked that question several times over the last couple weeks. Did you ever think about sacrificing the off-road so you can get that on-road refinement? The answer is absolutely not. Anybody who had brought that up was chased completely out of the room and doesn't work when you get more. So from that and that capability standpoint, if you look geometry-wise, we improved all of the departure, the approach, the breakover angle. It's all better. We have skid plates. Mark mentioned we have tow hooks. Standard. All of these things lead to a better geometry for the off-road ability. If I dive into the driveline aspects, so our base engine is going to be a 3.6 liter. It is the next generation of our Pentastar engine. It's a dual overhead cam engine with variable valve timing. We've put engine start-stop on that, improving that fuel economy, giving you more of that. If we go over to our new engine, so first time for our company, we're introducing a 2-liter 4-cylinder direct inject turbocharged engine, which is also has variable valve timing. And we are mating this with a mild hybrid system. So this is our e-torque system. It's a 48-volt system, so it's going to give you improved start-stop. It's very seamless in the start-stop activity. We have the ability to add torque to the crankshaft via an electric motor. And then we have regenerative braking. All of this adds into helping with that, boost that fuel economy. From a transmission standpoint, we have added an 8-speed automatic transmission. That is the same transmission that we have in other corporate products like the Grand Cherokee and our Ram. It's a very refined transmission, but it also gives us benefits on the trail from some of the crawl ratio that I'll talk about in a second. We have a new manual that's offered with our 3.6 liter. This has improvements with the gearing that we have. It's a shorter throw shifter. It's a very nice box that we have. Transfer case. So on our Sport and Sahara, we have a 2.72 ratio transfer case. We have the traditional part-time system, all manually operated, so we still have a lever. 2-wheel, 4 high, 4 low. But also on Sahara now, we are introducing a full-time system. Also with the 272. This is also with a manual pole. You can be in 2-wheel, and then if the customer so chooses, can go into 4 auto. And then in 4 auto, we will let the system dictate the amount of torque that we're sending to the front. Then, If the customer wants, they can go into the 4 high and 4 low, just like our park pancakes. From an axle standpoint, we have next generation Dana axles on light duty and heavy duty both. Have the next generation version of those axles. These axles have a wider diameter, tube thickness, more tube thickness. They're much stronger than the current generation. Our axle forgings are stronger. All of these things added up very much improve what we already had. If you roll all those things together from a crawl ratio standpoint, on the Rubicon model, our crawl ratio went from, on the current Wrangler, it's a 59-to-1, we went up to a 77-to-1 crawl ratio. Then on the manual, we go from a 73-to-1 all the way up to an 84. So again, that capability was right there, right in front of us. And then finally, fuel economy. That's always on everybody's mind. So fuel economy was improved. So Dave mentioned the weight reduction that we had. So 200 pounds of weight taken out of the vehicle. Mark mentioned the windshield. He mentioned some other features. If I say Wrangler, the first thing in your mind is not aerodynamics, I'm pretty sure. But we were able to reduce the coefficient of drag on this vehicle by 9%. It didn't come from just the windshield rake. Believe it or not, this front end, which is TJ inspired, this is actually the best front end that we have. It allows the air to come up. It stays connected to the hood. You don't get a pressure bubble here that actually hurts aero. The angle on this, we actually worked with Mark and team. We kept changing this angle. We wanted to find the sweet spot. So we did aerodynamic simulations. We probably did 20 or 30 of them, looking at what is the right angle for this. Believe it or not, the more you push it back, it doesn't keep getting better. There's a point at which it starts to get worse. And it just so happens where we landed was the same place that Mark and team really liked. So we lucked out. The back end tapers in a little bit. And then we have the lip spoiler on the back. That was worth a lot. It actually gets the air to move to reduce the weight, and then it actually cuts the air so it doesn't stay attached on the back end. So all of these things came together, again, more. So now I've talked about all these individual pieces. We had to bring it together and make sure as a system it works flawlessly. So this Wrangler has been tested more than basically any Jeep that we've ever made. It's got just shy of 4 million miles of testing on it. We developed everything in our tech center, the first 4 labs of our tech center in Auburn Hills, where we have wind tunnel, we have drive cells. Then we took it out in the real world. So we've driven it all across the country. We've gone off-roading in northern Michigan mud. We've gone on sand dunes. We've gone off-roading and rock crawling throughout the Southwest. A lot in Arizona. We've been on the Rubicon Trail. And after all of that, I can assure you that today you guys are going to drive a product that on-road is fantastic, and then you're going to have a lot of fun off-road. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Scott, who's going to give you some more information, and then we can get out on the road.